Have you ever truly imagined a living creature that can lose its head and still not die immediately? Not as a reflex, not as a final twitch of muscles after death, but as a strange biological state where the body continues to move, react, and function, despite the fact that what we consider the control center is gone. To human logic, this sounds impossible. Because in our bodies, the head is everything. The brain is the central command system. It controls movement, perception, coordination, and nearly every function required for survival. Without the head, the human body shuts down within seconds to minutes. But the animal kingdom does not follow a single design rule. Evolution does not create one universal blueprint for life. Instead, it produces millions of variations, each shaped by survival pressure, environment, and chance.
And in some of these designs, life is not strictly centralized in one organ. Control is distributed, functions are shared, and survival does not always depend on a single master control unit. This is why, in certain cases, life can continue even when the head is gone. One of the most well-known examples comes from a creature that lives right alongside humans, the cockroach. To many people, cockroaches are simply pests, fast-moving, hard to eliminate, and extremely resilient. But beneath that reputation lies a biological system that is far more unusual than it first appears. A cockroach can survive for a period of time without its head. After decapitation, it does not immediately collapse. It does not instantly stop moving. Instead, its body can continue to function in a limited way.
It can walk. It can respond to touch. It can move unpredictably for days, sometimes even over a week under certain conditions. But this does not mean it is truly alive in a normal sense. Without its head, a cockroach cannot eat. It cannot drink, and it eventually dies from dehydration or starvation. The fascinating part is not that it survives forever, but that it does not die immediately. To understand this, we need to look at how its nervous system is built. Unlike humans, who rely heavily on the brain as a single centralized control hub, cockroaches have a distributed nervous system. Along their bodies are clusters of nerve cells called ganglia. These ganglia act like local control centers. Each one can manage basic functions independently of the brain. This means that even without a head, parts of the body still retain simple behavioral programs.
Walking patterns, reflex responses, basic movement coordination. In essence, the body still carries autonomous instructions even when the main brain is removed. This kind of system is called decentralized control. Instead of one master controller, control is spread throughout the body. If we compare this to humans, the difference is extreme. A human body depends heavily on the brain for almost every essential function. Damage to the brain usually leads to immediate or severe consequences. But in cockroaches, the system is more modular. Losing the head does not instantly shut down every function. It only removes the ability to coordinate complex survival tasks. And this raises a deeper question. How many other animals share this kind of biological flexibility? The answer is more than you might expect. One of the most famous cases in vertebrate animals is the so-called headless chicken. In 1945, a chicken known as Mike the headless chicken survived after its head was mostly removed, leaving part of the brainstem intact. Against all expectations, it did not die immediately. Instead, it lived for approximately 18 months. It could not eat normally, so food was delivered directly into its esophagus. But many basic bodily functions continued to operate: breathing, balance, limited movement. This case demonstrated something important. Even in higher animals, not all essential life functions are strictly dependent on the full brain. As long as certain primitive brain structures remain, partial survival is possible. But the phenomenon does not end there. In the world of invertebrates, there are organisms that take this concept even further. The planarian flatworm, for example, possesses extraordinary regenerative abilities. When its body is cut, certain fragments can regrow into complete organisms. In some cases, even small pieces of tissue can reorganize and rebuild a fully functional body. It is as if every part of its body carries a biological instruction manual for reconstructing itself. Unlike humans, where body loss is usually permanent, planarians demonstrate a radically different survival strategy: regeneration instead of preservation. In marine environments, starfish also show similar principles. Many species can regrow lost arms, and in some cases, if part of the central disc remains, an entirely new organism can develop from a separated limb. This challenges our basic assumption of what one individual even means in biology. Is a body defined by its head, or by its ability to maintain function and regenerate structure? The more we explore these organisms, the more we realize that life is not a single concept with one definition. It is a spectrum of survival strategies. However, none of this means these animals are invincible. Cockroaches still die without water or food. Headless chickens survive only under extremely specific conditions. Planarians are vulnerable to environmental extremes, and starfish still depend on stable marine ecosystems. What makes them remarkable is not immortality, but adaptability. They reveal that life does not always collapse instantly when a major part is lost. Instead, it can persist in reduced, modified, or redistributed forms. When we step back and look at all these examples together, a larger pattern emerges. Life on Earth is not built around a single control system. It is built around diversity. Some organisms rely on centralized brains. Others rely on distributed nerve networks. Some depend on regeneration. Others depend on redundancy. And some can temporarily function even after losing what we consider essential body parts. This biological diversity reflects billions of years of experimentation through evolution. Every survival strategy that works, even partially, can persist long enough to be passed on. And over time, these strategies become some of the most bizarre and fascinating traits in the natural world. So, when we return to the original question, how can an animal live without a head? The answer is not a single mystery. It is a collection of evolutionary solutions. Different systems, different designs, different ways of keeping life going, even when parts of the system are gone. And perhaps the most important lesson is this: life is not as fragile or as simple as it appears. It is a constantly adapting network of biological possibilities, shaped not by what should be possible, but by what manages to survive.